Hey, this is Aaron from AaronWitten.com, here to discuss abdominal training. The abdominals are easily one of the most popular body parts, one of the most desired, and one of the most coveted by men and women alike. Unfortunately, there's a lot of myths surrounding the abdominals, and I'm here to dispel some of those, clear it up, and show you how to efficiently train the abdominals to get the effect that you're after. So I like to discuss anatomy and function of each muscle group before we go any further. The abdominals serve to shorten the distance between the navel and the sternum, that is, to crunch the midsection together, and for that reason we need to train them accordingly. They are also a muscle group like any other in terms of their fiber makeup. There's nothing particularly special or different about the abdominals. It requires bizarre or off-the-wall training. The mistake that you see most commonly with ab training is the performance of hundreds, if not thousands, of repetitions. This is largely a waste of time because, as we just mentioned, the abs are made up of muscle fiber just like any other group. If you wanted to build your chest, arms, back, whatever, you wouldn't do 5 sets of 100 with 5-pound dumbbells or even no weight and expect to get anywhere. The abs are the same way. You have to treat them like you would any other muscle and train them in a progressive fashion with overload resistance applied properly for a relatively modest number of repetitions, usually in the range of 10 to 20. Anything over that and the threshold for the stimulus is simply too low, and it becomes a low-grade aerobic workout. So that is the overview on how to actually train the musculature of the abdominals. Now, for most folks, when they talk about wanting abs, so to speak, what they're really talking about is definition, and what that means is a reduction in body fat. So abs are made in the kitchen, and you will never see an improvement in your abdominals visually unless you reduce the amount of fat that you're holding in that region. And it is a common side of fat deposition. So that means men and women alike will have to alter their diet to some extent in order to shed fat from the abdominal region. I do have an article that's freely available online, a nutritional primer that you can refer to for some handy tips on nutrition. However, nutrition is the most important component of the entire ball game, so it does require some specialized attention. So email me at aaron@witten.com to get some help in that area. Now, back to training. In terms of efficient motions for the abs, most of your efforts should be directed at leg raise type movements because they target the lower abdominals, which is the area that we need to tighten the most. So leg raises of any sort are good. If you're a complete novice, I recommend starting on the floor or a flat bench, simply raising the legs up and down. However, that's going to become fairly easy fairly quickly, so you need to migrate to a more intense form of the leg raise, and that is the hanging leg raise, which is the single best motion in your abdominal arsenal. So to perform this, you take a grip on a chin-up bar and you're going to smoothly raise the legs all the way up and down. There's no swinging, there's no inertia. Just like that. You can touch your feet lightly to the floor between reps to keep from swinging. If you can do more than about 20 reps in that style, it's time to start holding a light dumbbell between your feet. That will increase the intensity greatly. So that's the hanging leg raise. The second motion that we're going to look at is the crunch on a Swiss ball. This is an excellent movement if done properly. What I see a lot of folks do is sit too low on the ball so that their butt is below their shoulders. This is a mistake. You want to lay back so that you're roughly parallel to the floor and then crunch up just through the range of motion for the abdominals, which is actually quite short in this crunch motion. It's just a few inches. If you sit up fully, you're using the psoas muscles to contract and complete that range of motion. It's not necessarily going to hurt your abdominal development, but it is a waste of energy. And also I recommend that you occasionally from time to time lift one foot while you're crunching, again to disengage the psoas and to ensure that you're doing the movement strictly. So to do it properly, lay back so that your head and butt are roughly in line and crunch up. do 20 or so reps, begin holding a weight behind the head, and don't be afraid to work up to some serious resistance there. The abs have the potential for great strength and power, just like other muscle groups, so utilize it. Now in terms of growth in the abdominal region, I hear some folks, especially gals that are spooked, they say, I don't want to build the midsection, I don't want to grow the abdominal muscles. Don't worry about it. Like I said, it's a muscle just like others, so it's not going to explode overnight. The third motion that I want to look at is the seated twist. The seated twist is an excellent motion because it engages the transverse abdominal wall, which lies posterior to the visible abdominals. Now this is an important muscle because it's responsible for tension in the gut. That is, when you suck in the gut, you're using the transverse abdominal wall to flex and hold the gut tight like that. So training that muscle will actually reduce your waistline much more than any other movement. To perform this, you take a seat on a bench at first, might be easier. The floor is a little bit more advanced. You're going to lean back so your feet are up off the floor, that's critical, and you're going to twist from side to side, just like that. The key here is to move the entire body, not just the arms. And once you can do, say, 20 or so repetitions on each side, again, begin holding a light plate for some additional resistance against the chest. If you want to make it even harder, you can extend it out and increase the resistance arc in that fashion. Those three motions are the most efficient movements for the abdominals. So in conjunction with the tight diet, that's going to create the look that most people are after. That is a tight, streamlined midsection that is also very strong and functional. Those movements are going to help prevent injury, especially in the lower back. The core, as you've heard, is a very critical part of the body for stabilization throughout all motions, especially anything athletic. So it pays to get the abs as strong as possible. Don't do 1,000 repetitions of foo-foo floor crunches or whatnot. Get in there and treat them like you would any other muscle group with a progressive overload fashion. That's abdominal training. I'm Aaron from AaronWitten.com. Thank you.